You see it everywhere, right? The global race for AI dominance is all over the news. But when you get past the headlines and the hype, what does it actually take to win? It's not just about who has the smartest algorithm. Today, we're going to break down the real, multi-layered strategy that's going to separate the winners from everybody else. Let's jump in.
So what's the secret sauce here? You might think it's just about having the most brilliant coders or the biggest pile of data. But as we're about to find out, the real answer is, well, it's a lot more complicated than that. This is a game being played on multiple battlefields at the same time, from government policy all the way down to the server racks that power our digital world. And it really does start at the very top. See, to get a handle on the future of AI, you have to understand national strategy first. Because winning this race isn't just a corporate goal for the next quarter, it's a massive geopolitical objective that will define who holds economic power for the next 100 years. Okay, so this slide shows a huge pivot in US policy. The old way of thinking was all about defense. Build a technological wall, control the supply of the most advanced chips, and basically just try to slow down your rivals. But that strategy is being flipped on its head. The new game is all about promotion. Get the entire world to want to build on top of the American AI stack. So why the big change? Well, the old strategy had a fatal flaw: open source AI. You just can't hoard the best tools when the code for powerful models is out there for anyone to grab. Models like China's DeepSeek proved that anybody could take that public code, tweak it, and build something powerful on their own. That restrictive wall was starting to look pretty obsolete, and it was actually becoming a risk to US competitiveness.
And this analysis, by the way, comes from a recent report by the American Action Forum, which does a fantastic job of unpacking this strategic shift. Their whole argument is that true leadership isn't about restriction, it's about attraction.
And this quote, wow, it just perfectly captures the new philosophy. It's such a great metaphor, isn't it? Don't hide the ball. Instead, build the best stadium with the best turf, the best rules, and the best equipment, so that every player on Earth wants to come play on your field. That's how you really lead.
Okay, so that's the high-level game plan. That's the theory. But how does this whole attractive ecosystem actually work in the real world? To understand that, we need to go from the policy down to the engine room and look at how a real AI company gets things done.
So let me introduce you to Arcee AI. They're a startup building these specialized small language models. You can think of them as targeted, super efficient AIs for specific business needs, but they slammed headfirst into a massive wall: the global shortage of high-end GPUs, those super powerful chips you absolutely need to train AI. Without access to that raw compute power, all their brilliant ideas were basically just stuck in limbo. So their solution wasn't just about trying to find more GPUs. It was about getting way smarter with their whole infrastructure. They turned to purpose-built AI hardware from AWS. We're talking specialized chips like Trainium for training models and Inferentia for running them. Now this is a perfect example of that attractive ecosystem in action. It's not just about having the parts, it's about having the whole efficient platform built around them. And the results? I mean, they were absolutely staggering. By switching over to this purpose-built setup, Arcee AI slashed their model training costs by nearly 98%. Just let that sink in. For a startup, that's the difference between life and death. It unlocks a level of innovation that was just way too expensive to even dream of before.
And it wasn't just cheaper, it was ridiculously faster. A training job that used to take them 17 hours could now be done in just 1.6 hours. That kind of speed means you can experiment, you can fail, and you can innovate at a pace that was impossible before. This is what an attractive, competitive playing field looks like in the real world.
Okay, so we've got a national strategy that's all about fostering innovation, and we've got the commercial infrastructure to make it happen fast and cheap. But that brings us to a huge question, right? With all these new models popping up everywhere, how do we actually know if they're any good? How do we grade their performance? And this brings us to the third and honestly one of the most overlooked pillars of AI leadership, the report card. We're talking about the absolutely critical world of AI benchmarks, the standardized tests that tell us what these models can actually do. So what exactly is a benchmark? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like the SATs for AI models. It's a standardized set of questions and tasks designed to test a model on everything from basic language skills to super complex reasoning. And at the end, it spits out a score that lets us compare different models to see who's really pushing the envelope.
But benchmarking is not as simple as it sounds. There are some major traps you can fall into. Contamination is basically when the AI is cheated because it already saw the test questions in its training data. Saturation is when all the best models just ace the test, so it becomes useless for telling them apart. And then you've got Goodhart's Law, which is a fancy way of saying that once everybody starts teaching to the test stops measuring real intelligence.
This just gives you a little taste of the different kinds of tests that are out there. For really intense reasoning skills, you've got benchmarks like math, which uses actual competition-level math problems. For coding abilities, there's human eval. And for just general language skills, you have things like Glue. To really know how good a model is, you need a whole battery of these different tests. So, we've looked at the national strategy, we've looked at the commercial infrastructure, and we've looked at the evaluation report card. Now let's just take a second to connect all these dots and see how they come together to form one powerful system.
It's really a three-step virtuous cycle. First, you have the national game plan that creates this awesome field for innovation. Second, you have the commercial engine, the hardware, the cloud services that lets companies like Arcee AI build incredible things on that field super fast and super cheap. And third, you have the report card, the benchmarks that measure how well they did, find the weaknesses, and guide the next wave of innovation.
And that, right there, is the crucial takeaway from all of this. Winning the AI race isn't about a single Sputnik moment or one genius model that changes everything. It's about building a superior, self-reinforcing system where strategy, infrastructure, and evaluation are all working together to just constantly accelerate progress.
So that leaves us with one last big thought. If the new name of the game is attraction, not restriction, then the most important question for the future is this: who is building the most innovative, the most efficient, and the most welcoming playing field for the rest of the world to come and build upon?
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.